Where are we going today?
Wow, it's so beautiful. Where is this?
Right now, we are at the Waitomo Glowworm Caves, which is in New Zealand!
Wow.
Hi pals! Right now, we are in New Zealand, a country made up of islands located south of Australia. Did you know that New Zealand has another name? It's called Aotearoa! Aotearoa comes from the Maori language, the indigenous people who inhabit this island. Aotearoa means the land of the long white cloud. The word comes from Aotea, which can be interpreted as a white cloud, and Roa, which can mean long or long life. Did you also know that there's a flightless bird that has become the national icon of New Zealand? Try to guess. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's the kiwi bird! This bird is native to New Zealand, small to medium size, and has eggs that are very large compared to its body.
Why is it called the kiwi bird?
The name kiwi comes from the sound made by the bird. The bird makes a distinctive sound that resembles the word kiwi. Then, the Maori people heard the sound and named the bird the kiwi bird. Many Maori words adopt names based on the characteristic of animals and the environment around them, with the naming of the kiwi bird being one example. And today, New Zealanders are also called Kiwis. This name is a point of pride for New Zealand citizens. Stop! Stop it, Dad! We must not keep or hunt kiwi birds, because this bird is an endangered species. New Zealand conservation laws also protect the kiwi bird's habitat. Keeping a kiwi bird is illegal.
Yeah, okay. I know, I understand. Because so many species out there have gone extinct because of human actions.
Yay, we made it!
It feels like I've seen this place before. Aduh!
Welcome to the Hobbit Inn. Come in, come in. What would you like to order? Here's the menu if you are unsure what to eat. And this is the bell if you have finished cooking. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, the Hobbit is very friendly. No wonder it gets 5-star rating. What's good to eat today, Pon?
Alright, first up is Hangi! Hangi is a traditional cooking technique where food is steamed in an underground oven. The hole is lined with heated stones. The food is placed on top of the hot stones. Then the hole is covered so that the smoke and heat doesn't escape. The hot stones used in Hangi are usually volcanic rocks that retain heat well. These stones are preheated over a big fire before being placed in the bottom of the Hangi hole. This technique is an ancient Maori cooking method brought around the 1300s and has been preserved and can still be seen today. Typically, fish, meat, shellfish, root vegetables, and starchy fruits are cooked using this technique. Hangi is generally used for special occasions and major celebrations because it requires a lot of effort and time.
How do you make food using the Hangi technique, Pon?
First, choose a location away from buildings and trees. Then, prepare a large hole. Second, heat the stones over a big fire. Once the stones are heated, place them into a large hole. Next, place meat and vegetables that have been cut and seasoned with salt and some spices into wire baskets and cover with leaves or aluminum foil. Then place them on top of the heated stones. Finally, cover the food with large leaves or a damp cloth to trap the steam and heat the inside. Wait for 3 to 4 hours until the meat and vegetables are tender and delicious. Once cooked, uncover the hole and carefully lift out the food. And ta-da! You can serve the food cooked with the Hangi technique!
Is there anything else you need, sir?
Let me taste this first.
Dad, in Maori tradition, food must be shared fairly among all members of the group. Sharing food reflects the value of cooperation and togetherness.
All right, all right. Yum, 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 yum. Ah, it's so tender and warm.
Alright, the second one is Colonial Goose. Colonial Goose is a traditional dish made from roast lamb stuffed with apricots and honey.
So, where is the goose?
Even though the name of this dish has goose in it, it doesn't actually contain goose. When the British and the Maoris signed the Treaty of Waitangi in 1840, this marked the beginning of British colonization in New Zealand. This also led to a large migration of British settlers to New Zealand. They had to survive using the natural resources available in New Zealand. At some point, they missed their traditional dishes from their homeland, like roast goose. Since geese were rare, they got creative, replacing goose meat with the abundant lamb in New Zealand. To prepare this imitation goose, they took a lamb's leg, removed the bone, and then stuffed it with a mixture of honey, dried apricots, breadcrumbs, and onions, seasoned with parsley, thyme, or sage.
How do you cook it, Pon?
After seasoning and stuffing the meat, it is sewn up and slowly roasted in an oven until perfectly cooked. The slow roasting process helps to tenderize the meat and extract all the flavors from the spices and stuffing. Once roasted, colonial goose is usually served with roasted vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and pumpkin. This dish is also commonly accompanied by a rich sauce or gravy made from the meat juices. And ta-da! Here's colonial goose!
Ah, it's so good.
The third is Rawena bread! This is a traditional Maori bread made using a fermented potato starter, which gives it a unique sweet and slightly sour flavor.
What is a starter?
A starter in bread making is a mixture of ingredients containing natural microorganisms that are used to ferment the dough. The starter acts as a natural leavening agent and imparts a distinctive flavor. In the case of Rawena bread, the starter is made from boiled and mashed potatoes, then mixed with the potato cooking water, sugar, and flour. This mixture is left to ferment for several days until it bubbles and is ready to use.
Isn't potatoes from South America?
Yes, that's right. When the British come to New Zealand, they also introduced potatoes and various other new products and techniques. Potatoes, which are a staple in this bread, were introduced by European explorers, particularly James Cook and early missionaries at the end of the 18th century. The Maori quickly adopt potatoes as a food and staple crop due to the ease of cultivation, high yield, and nutritional value. Potatoes were also easier to grow and more productive compared to the Maori's previous staple crop, which was kumara. With the introduction of potatoes to New Zealand, it also influenced traditional Maori dishes like hangi and Rawena bread.
Oh, I see. So, how do you make it?
After fermenting the Rawena starter for a few days, the starter is mixed with flour, salt, and sugar to form a dough. The dough is then kneaded until elastic and left to rise for a few hours. Once risen, the dough is shaped and baked until cooked. Voila! And there you have Rawena bread! This bread has a chewy texture and a slightly sweet and sour taste, thanks to the potato starter. You can enjoy it with butter or use it as an accompaniment to various dishes.
It's the perfecto combinazione. What's the last one, Pon?
Yay! The last one is Hokey Pokey ice cream!
Oh, ice cream?
Hokey Pokey is a type of vanilla ice cream with honeycomb toffee added inside. Historically, Hokey Pokey was a term used to refer to honeycomb toffee. This candy is crispy and sweet and is made from a mixture of sugar, golden syrup, and baking soda. Honeycomb toffee has been known to the English and Europeans since the 19th century. When the British migrated to New Zealand, they brought this candy with them. Local candy makers then created their own version of honeycomb toffee in New Zealand.
So how did it become an ice cream?
Before Hokey Pokey ice cream was created, ice cream only had a few flavors, like vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. In the mid-20th century, some ice cream makers started adding chunks of honeycomb toffee to vanilla ice cream, which was very popular there. This combination gave a crispy texture and a caramel flavor that contrasted with the smooth vanilla ice cream. Soon, Hokey Pokey ice cream quickly became popular and a favorite in New Zealand. Ice cream companies didn't stay behind, and Tip Top started producing Hokey Pokey ice cream in 1950. This brand played a significant role in spreading this new flavor across New Zealand. Its popularity even spread abroad. Japan is one of the countries that imports Hokey Pokey ice cream, and it's also very popular there. And that's the history of how Hokey Pokey ice cream came to be.
May I?
Sure, go ahead. So, what's your take on our journey today, Dad?
New Zealand's cuisine is quite complex. There are traditional dishes from the Maori people, and also dishes influenced by the British settlers. The indigenous cooking techniques are still very much preserved here. The Maori people are fortunate compared to the Lucayan people in the Bahamas. Lamb and potatoes are inseparable in New Zealand cuisine. I'm really amazed by how people of various races live together peacefully here. I wonder what magic they've created to maintain this harmony. The Hobbit was also very friendly, deserving a 5-star rating. I wish I could stay here for another week.
Is there anything else you need, sir?
I can't express enough how impressed I am with New Zealand's cuisine. Thank you for the warm hospitality.
Wow, didn't realize it's already evening here. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. You can also support us by donating to our Patreon.
See you in the next country!